Hello all, welcome back. Today we're going to learn about some more properties of logarithm. The first property of logarithm that I want to introduce is how to add two logarithms together. So let's say, for example, you have log base b of a plus log base b of c. You're adding two logarithms together and they have the same base. Well, when you have two logarithms with the same base, here's how you add them together. It would equal log base b of a times c. All right, so this is our first rule that we're going to be practicing today. Let me give you an example. Let's say we have the following. Log base 2 of 7 plus log base 2 of 5. What are we doing here? We're adding two logarithms of base 2. So what we do when you add two logarithms of the same base is you combine them into a single logarithm, the same base, and what you do is you multiply these two numbers together. So log base 2 of 7 plus log base 2 of 5 would be log base 2 of 35. So there's our first rule. Now here's our second rule that we're going to learn. So we'll just call this rule 1. Here's rule 2. If you got a log of some base b of a minus log base b of c, that can be written as a single logarithm. It can be written as a logarithm log base b of a divided by c. So if we look at the top one, when we were adding, we use multiplication. On this new rule that we are going to see here we're subtracting. What do we use? Division. So let's do an example of one of these. Let's say we have the following example. We have log base 2 of 7 minus log base 2 of 5. We want to combine those together as a single logarithm. Well, they're both base 2. What do we do? We're subtracting. So to write it as a single logarithm, we would use division. So it would be log base 2 of 7 divided by 5. Okay? 7 divided by 5 can't be reduced. So if your fraction can be reduced, I'm going to want you to reduce it. If it can't be reduced, just leave it as a fraction. Don't rewrite it as a base number. Just leave it as an improper fraction. So my answer is just log base 2 of 7/5. And then we got one more rule. Rule number 3. This rule says if you have a number in front of your logarithm, so let's say we got c times log base b of a. So you can think of this as c being multiplied by log base b of a. Well, we can rewrite that as log base b of a to the c power. So basically what this rule says is if you have a number in front of your logarithm, what you can do is you can move that number and make it the exponent of what you're taking the log of. An example for this one. Let's say I have 2 times log base 3 of 8. And I want you to rewrite it as a single logarithm. Well, that would be log base 3 of, well, we take the 2 and move it to the exponent of 8 squared. But we can simplify that, because 8 squared is 8 times 8. So our final answer would be just log base 3 of 64. So this is what you're going to be practicing today, today's assignment. So let's do a problem that combines a couple of these rules. Let's say I have the following problem. 2 log base 3 of 8 plus log base 3 of 2. And the direction says to rewrite it as a single logarithm. So my final answer needs to be just log base 3 of something. All right, so what are we doing here? We're adding 2 logarithms. But if you notice, that first logarithm has a 2 in front of it. So you can't add these 2 logarithms together yet until we get rid of that 2. So the first thing we're going to have to do is get rid of this 2. So we're just going to move that to the exponent on the 8. I'm going to rewrite this as log base 3 of 8 squared plus log base 3 of 2. And then again, log base 3 of 8 squared can be rewritten as log base 3 of 64. And make sure when you're doing these on your assignment today, you don't skip any steps. I want to see the steps work out. I don't want you to just write down the answer. You won't get full credit if you do that. I need to see the work. So now, what are we doing here? We're adding 2 logarithms that have the same base. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine them with multiplication. So we're going to take 64 times 2, which is 128. So my answer is log base 3 of 128. All right, let's do one more example. Let's say I have the following problem. Log base 3 of 100 minus log base 3 of 10 plus log base 3 of 7. Well, just like before, when we're adding 3 numbers together, we always go from left to right. When we're adding or subtracting 3 numbers, we just go left to right. So we're going to start off by combining these 2 logarithms together. So this, I can rewrite this as a single logarithm. What am I doing? I got log base 3 of 100 minus log base 3 of 10. So we are using subtraction here. So when I combine them as a single logarithm, I would use division. So it would be 100 over 10. And then I still got my plus log base 3 of 7. But what is 100 over 10? 100 over 10 is just 10. So I can simplify this to just log base 3 of 10 plus log base 3 of 7. And now I can combine these 2 logarithms with multiplication because I'm adding here. So this would be log base 3 of 10 times 7, which is 70. And that's our final answer. So you're going to be doing that on today's assignment. And then there's one other thing you'll be doing. I just remembered. So that wasn't the last example. I might give you a problem like this. Log base 5 of 8. So I'm giving you a logarithm, and the directions are going to say rewrite it as a sum or difference of 2 logarithms. So it's kind of the reverse of what we've just been doing. So basically what I want you to do is I want you to rewrite this as 2 logarithms of base 5. And there's going to be an unlimited amount of correct answers. There's not one correct way to do this. One way we could do it is, well, 8. I could rewrite 8 as 4 times 2. So I could rewrite this as log base 5 of 4 plus log base 5 of 2. That's one acceptable answer. Another thing I could do is I could rewrite log base 5 of 8. Well, 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I could rewrite this as log base 5 of 16 minus log base 5 of 2. So these are just 2 of the different answers we could do. Okay? So you're also going to be doing that on today's assignment. Hopefully this makes sense. If not, you can always email me and ask me for help.